What's up, guys? Welcome back to Digital Dive-In, the proper gaming talk show where we dive into the latest news in gaming every single week. It is your boy, Mr. Monkey. With me today is SGK as usual, and it is Friday, the last Friday in June 25th, and post E3, nothing really usually happens.
Yeah.
It's hard to find news right after E3. There's obviously stuff always going on, but nothing really big. Everyone is still just reeling and enjoying watching the stuff from E3. And it just happened last weekend, ended on the
Watching what
15th.
stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of E3. There's enough that would keep us going, but yeah, a lot of it was just meh. But still, there's enough happened this last week and a little bit last week that we're going to touch on today. Starting off with basically one thing that's been absorbing Twitter lately is all this speculation and news coming from EA and EA fans. EA doesn't have any fans, just saying, but still. We all hate EA, but sometimes they're dope. For example, there are a lot of rumors right now floating around that EA is going to be reviving a fan favorite series, and they're going to be announcing it at the next EA Play event that's going down in July. Now, a lot of people, whenever like EA is mentioned and fan favorite series are mentioned, everyone immediately jumps on Dead Space, and Dead Space is I guess the front running expectation right now for this. But I mean, EA has so many old games that they haven't even touched on in years that they could bring back instead of Dead Space. But
Literally,
what do you
let's not
think?
be. I say they need to tread carefully with this. I don't want them to bring back Dead Space because of how popular it is.
It's such a good game.
Because I don't want it back for Blood Syndrome, where now everybody's
Oh,
hating
that's
on it
fair.
because it's not as good as the last three games in the series. And also it's probably one of their newest old IP, if that makes any sense.
Kinda,
You
yeah,
have you have the NBA Street games, you got
yeah.
the sports game. Like there's so many sports games that I believe they should come back. I am a hardcore fan of SSX. I would love to see that come back. I honestly, because there was a poll on YouTube about which of these games. Dead Space was one of them, but it was like Dead
Yeah.
Space, SSX, and like two others. And like, I mean, a lot of people wanted SSX and mainly Dead Space, but I feel like I feel like it wouldn't be right. I don't feel like this is the time to bring back Dead Space. Honestly, I feel like something older and something that has something with less pressure put on it would need to come back. Something for a niche community. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
actually think SSX is a possibility. Considering how they might be. I'm trying to think how they would think about bringing
Yeah.
something back that would be good for market. Good for them and stuff like that. So
Honestly, I think SSX would be too small of a game because even when it was big, it was still only big in a very niche community. It wasn't something like Skate or Tony Hawk Pro Skater, where those games have a much wider fan base than the SSX games did. They were good games. Don't get me wrong; they were fantastic games. The PS3 game was complete and utter shite, but the original games were good. They were legitimately good, but they just don't have the range that skating games, for example, do. There's a lot of sports
I
games
mean,
out
you
there.
could.
There's the motocross games, racing games,
Mhm.
and those games have, I think, more appeal, way more appeal than snowboarding games do. Winter sports
I
games,
mean,
they just are way more niche.
I think motorsport and snowboarding games are kind of in the same boat where most of them are on
Yeah,
a dirt road.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
motorsport is most of them are on a dirt road, but like
They don't have
you
as
can do
much
tricks and
depth
stuff
as a
like that.
skating game would. For
You
Skate 3, for
could
example. You
you
could, yeah,
could make
totally.
it as diverse. Like even with the environment, you could like Mount Everest. Just because both mountains are covered in snow, doesn't mean that they look the same. You know what I'm
True,
saying?
yeah,
They're different mountains that have vastly different environments. So like,
true.
and they tried to make it a little bit more diverse with the environmental. Like you had ice and like
Yeah, yeah.
different rainstorms and
I think
stuff.
the biggest
So
issue is just like you're stuck to a specific type of environment and you
yeah,
can't
like
really go
snow.
past that, and you only have one direction you can ever go when it's down.
Yeah, I mean that's the most fun direction to go. I mean you can go up,
It
you can
can
do
be. It
tricks
can
and do
be.
all this other stuff. You can.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like there's different directions in skating games. Like, you go
Yeah,
sideways, you go
skating
up,
games just
stuff.
give you much more depth and breadth of environments that you can explore and enjoy. Like Skate 3, for example, you had an entire
Mhm.
city to just mess around in. And snowboarding,
Mhm.
you could have a park, you could have a mountain, and that's essentially it. So we haven't seen a Dead Space game since 2013, which, I mean, some people think, oh, it's not that long ago, but that's still like.
It's about
It's
8 years.
yeah, it's still 8 years ago. It's like an entire generation ago, essentially. So if you put it in that perspective, like the last Dead Space game was on the PS3. Now that there's a whole new console generation, uh, those games look gorgeous back in the day. Imagine how they would look, like a brand new one would look now. I think it would be absolutely incredible. However, I
I think
would appreciate them going in a totally new original direction with the series and not just
yeah,
carry on from Dead Space 3.
and that's what I was going to say. This is a very story based game,
It
and you have to
is.
kind of be careful bringing back games that have a heavy emphasis on story because if
Yeah.
you don't do the story right, it's going to mess everything up.
And
You
to be
know,
honest, I don't even really remember how Dead Space 3 ended. I had to go back and replay that game if I can somewhere.
hmm
But yeah, I don't really know how that one ended. So they'd have to really draw from this one unless they do like a prequel or something like that, and no one's really going to enjoy that. I think we just need a continuation on the series. But honestly, there's only a handful of games that they could do because their contract with Disney slash Star Wars is ending, and which is why Ubisoft is making their game. But I don't know. I mean, they could bring back Knights of the Old Republic. They could bring back Titanfall, which would be amazing if they brought back Titanfall. They made Titanfall 3. I would be 100% down with that. However, that is
yeah,
more on Respawn side rather than EA, even though they
yeah,
did publish it. So I don't know. Coder 2 is one that they did, and they could bring Coder back.
yeah. That was a good game.
That was a great game. And
Touching
but they
on
and it's been rumored that they are making or that a Coda remake or remaster or something is happening. So
mhm.
that might coincide with this announcement, but we don't know. Honestly, right now it's all speculation. The fan favorite right now is Dead Space, and I would love to see Dead Space because it's one of my favorite horror games of all time. We'll have to wait and see what happens
Yeah,
on July 22nd when the EA Play event drops. Speaking about the EA Play event next month, we got a bunch of developers and companies doing all these events after EA or E3 rather. We saw Xbox do their whole post E3 showcase back last Thursday, I guess, before we or after we shot the video. So there they showed a couple games and some more gameplay and some more announcements, but they really didn't show really anything of value, a whole lot of value. They showed Crucis, Crucis, which is just a space Left 4 Dead game. They announced that what was it? Plague Tale Innocence was coming to PlayStation
4K.
PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
With like 4K and
Yeah.
60. Yes.
And then
So
Psychonauts 2, they showed some stuff for Age of Empire updates and Forza Horizon 5, more of that. But that was pretty much it. There's rumors that there's going to be another state of play that's going to be happening, but we don't have a date of that yet. But my biggest question is like, are these even really worth it, or do you think like because EA didn't have did they have an event in E3?
nope.
Yeah, they didn't have an event in E3, so I wonder if this was just them trying to get the focus solely on them, or if this is like they just wanted extra breathing room and didn't want to be pushed on that E3 deadline.
I mean, I think it's good that we're having events because at the end of the day, when you have big events, the gaming community is always just like, oh man, there's nothing really, there's like spaces in between like showcases and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
having like mini showcases as we go along. Plus, I think everybody can understand and agree that E3 was not meaty at
It was
all.
not. It
When
was
it
very meh.
So
It
like
was very
even
meh.
developers can see that like E3 was meh, especially the
Yeah.
way they ended it with Bandai Namco and like showing off one
Yeah, that
game
was
for an
bad. That was
hour,
bad. But then
you
again, they
know.
didn't have Sony to wrap them up either, so
Yeah,
they had to fill the space with random ass bullshit.
so I kind of like the fact that because you get constant juice. It's not all just one
Yeah.
big thing and then you don't hear anything for 6 months. So
Honestly,
maybe
I said this before in our E3 video before, but honestly, I think just these developers and companies having their own events is just better than E3 is as a whole. I mean, and I get the argument that it's a whole community thing, but still, I think these individual showcases are more. There's like more anticipation for these than there is for E3 as an event.
I mean
But that's just me.
it's only because people started backing out. Like
Yeah, I
everybody
mean, Sony
in the
backed out, EA backed out, WB essentially backed out.
yeah.
Like most of the big developers just is like, no, we're good. Like we don't really need this spot. We're still working on our stuff, and we don't want to be pushed just to show something, you know. And I like that. I love that.
it's like people can't complain. People can't appreciate that people are
Exactly.
doing their own showcase, but then be mad when E3 isn't meaty. It's kind of like It's kind of
Yeah.
like college. You get in what you put out of it. I mean, you put in
Yeah.
what you get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
if
100%, 100%.
and does a community effort to make something great, then it's going to be good. If people just back out and start getting selfish and doing their own thing, then you're just going to have a bone dry. You're going to have bone dry events, you know.
And
So I mean,
I think them doing this might be a message to the E3 organizers to be like, you know what, maybe we'll tone it down next year. Maybe it'll only be a 2-day event rather than a 4-day.
yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll be starting to do this maybe every 2 years instead of every year. We might see some serious changes to E3 coming up. I wouldn't
I
be
mean,
surprised if Xbox backed out next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft backed out. I wouldn't be surprised if E3 just became a bunch of random developers just putting out a couple things here and there.
and the only thing that I would say I liked about E3 is that or even just giant community showcases in general, Game Awards,
Yeah,
E3 gave a lot of spotlight to up and coming developers that wouldn't get it in their own showcase. Like yeah,
exactly.
a lot of indie developers and stuff that
I
you
mean,
know
that's what we
need.
saw. That's what we saw with Xbox. Xbox always does this thing where they show off a bunch of games and how they perform on their console, and that could be seen as they don't have anything to offer themselves, or it could be seen as them being good with developers. Either way.
Yeah,
But we talked about this already. So, guys, what do you think about all these post E3 showcases? Do you think this is bad news for E3, or do you think they're going to be fine? Let us know what you think in the comments below. More Sony news. If anyone is subscribed to the PlayStation email blast, you might have seen this news about a bunch of PlayStation players getting email invites to order a PlayStation 5. That's because Sony started doing this whole email blast invite thing where they're basically guaranteeing anyone who gets these emails a PlayStation 5 because they've been so hard to get. However, this email also did get sent to a couple people who already own a PS5. You can see where the issue lies. This is a very like limited, push to people buying the PlayStation 5 because they don't want all these scalpers to just pick them up again.
yeah.
But the fact that the fact that it's so limited and they're sending it to PlayStation 5, already PlayStation 5 owners, is kind of like, okay, shit, wait, so you just limited yourselves even more. Why?
Kinda at the point, and I appreciate you because you always send me a notification when
Oh,
there's
hell
a
yeah.
new restock.
Because
But
I
I mean,
want you to get a PlayStation 5. I want to play together, man.
I know it's either I'm always at work,
I know.
it's like an
I
off
know.
week with my paycheck, or or something random is going on.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm kind of almost giving up. Like keep sending me the invites because eventually I'll get one. But like I'm kind of already mentally prepared for just PS5 Pro.
But like they announced that they're going to do like the PS5 Slim, but it's just going to be using different hardware to account for the microchip shortages. Essentially, that's all they're doing. It's going to
So
be the exact same console.
The one putting out, and they started putting out 3 consoles now. They started putting out a regular version, a super slim version, and then an actual.
I don't think we're going to see a slim version. I think we're just going to see this one and maybe a pro version like in 4 years.
Yeah,
probably because this is the latest tech right here. Like, there's nothing newer right now.
I mean, and they're saying that shortages are going to go till mid next year.
Exactly. So, like I said, 4 years from now. But either way,
yeah.
I think what Sony has to do with these email invites is they're going to keep doing this because I think it's a really, really, really good idea. Very good idea. But I think they need to create a whole new email list instead of just using the existing PlayStation email blast list that they already have. When you go on this, when you make an account, you sign up for the emails, all that jazz. They need to make a separate one for people who want to get invites to buy a PS5. That way they can weed out the people who already have one and the people who actually want one. Because there's still a lot of people that switched over to the Xbox that still have their PlayStation accounts.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, you could, like, if somebody really wanted to, they could buy a PS5 for somebody else that maybe didn't get the email.
That too.
Somebody that, could, help somebody out. Help out your fellow gamer.
Exactly.
You could do that, but yeah, they kind of shit the bed on this one.
Yeah. They just need another form of like getting these invites out there to the right people, the people that they know actually want this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll try later, Sony.
Yeah. And on to our favorite segment, shit we hate this week. So this is a news topic that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people because it's in a very niche area. It's VR. So if anyone didn't know, Facebook has been testing out a whole new string of ads targeted at VR headsets, specifically the Oculus Quest. One of the game developers, Resolution Games, just tested out putting on ads over their games, and specifically for their game Blastin'. I have not played the game. I don't have a VR headset, but this is very important either way because I want VR to become mainstream and get even better than it is now. Anyways, they just faced a shit ton of backlash because Blastin' is, first of all, you pay for the game. They were putting these Facebook ads over top of the game that you already paid for. Resolution Games just backed out of this because of all this backlash, and they're like, okay, we get it that it was probably not the best move to put a ad into a paid game, but they did say that they might test this whole ad thing again in their free game bait, which might be a better platform for ads like this. And my biggest take on it is I don't want VR to become the new mobile gaming scourge. And if you don't know what I mean, if you don't play mobile games, good. Mobile gamers, not gamers. But the biggest thing with mobile games are the absolutely obnoxious and absolutely stupid ads that they put into these games. Like, if you just download random ass games onto your phone, you're going to be getting these really weird, wacky ads every 5 minutes in the game. It's just like, literally, what is this? What are you advertising? This doesn't even make sense. There's actually a video that Markiplier just put out, I guess a couple days ago, about him doing a bunch of mobile games, satisfying games, and every other second was a fucking ad in the game. I'm just like, oh my lord, this is just dumb.
All right, I have to say, who are we? Do we have toddlers making these games? Do we have toddlers making these games? Who's? I guess putting an ad in a video game isn't the best idea. Who are you? Have you ever played a game in your life? Yeah, exactly. Have you ever played a video game in your life? Who sits there and it's just like, yes, that's exactly what I want. I want to be completely disrupted from a move that I'm about to do by an ad that is 5 to 20 seconds long, and that's time out of my busy day.
I think it's even worse given that it's VR, so you can't really escape the ad either. You know, like ads on your computer, on your phone, you can always press X, get out of it, whatever. You can still press X on the ad, of course. But the fact that it just pops up in your head is like, what the absolute fuck. And this actually reminds me, if anyone out there has seen Ready Player One, the whole idea was them like loading up the edges of your screen with ads in their VR game. Remember? Have you ever seen the movie?
Wait, which movie?
Ready Player One.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, yeah.
Remember the whole all the ads they were putting up everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we can use up to 85% of the space before inducing seizures. I'm like, what the fuck?
That was ridiculous.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen with VR. Okay, I don't. That's gonna be horrible.
It's like sitting in IMAX and you pay $20 for a movie ticket now?
No, it's still like 10. It's still 10. 10, 11. IMAX is like 15. IMAX is like 15. Yeah. But that's the most expensive therapy.
$13. You know, you're sitting there and then all of a sudden it's like the character's about to say something really inspirational. Hi, how would you like some toilet paper? How would you like a new cell phone? Hey, car, insurance. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be really annoying. And I get it. I get that this would be a good way for these developers to get more revenue. And again, it would make sense in a free game. But I don't want pop-up ads in VR. I just don't.
I don't
like
pop-up ads.
Do microtransactions in a free game. Do a season pass. Whatever you want. But I don't want ads in VR games. I don't want these to become the new mobile gaming scourge.
Yeah, just in like if you pay for something, you shouldn't have ads in it. Like,
even if you didn't, video games should not have ads to other shit in the game. Okay, just no, 100% unequivocally, no. No Facebook ads when I'm trying to play a fishing game. No ads to Google when I'm trying to play a first-person shooter. I don't want that shit. Nobody wants that shit, okay? That would make me not play your goddamn game, okay? Put in microtransactions. Put in whatever you want related to the game or your own properties, right? It's like, hey, you like this game. What about this other game we make? 110%, yes, that's totally fine. But don't try to redirect me to Facebook or Google or car insurance or some bullshit. So don't do it.
So bad.
Just don't. Fuck.
Really grinds my gears. Hashtag Peter Griffin.
No, it really grinds my gears. But guys, let us know all your thoughts about this story or anything else we talked about in the description below. If there's a game you want us to play that we have not played yet, please let us know. If there's a topic you wanted us to touch on, we 110% will. Let us know everything you're thinking in the comments below. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have not yet, please hit that like button if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. We put out videos every single Friday. Live streams once in a while whenever we have time. We should really go on a schedule, but you know we're not going to. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay excellent. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.